Alright, guys, Parashat Chayei Sarah. Parashat Chayei Sarah.
Oh, it's my part.
What? It's your parsha? Whose parsha is it? Yours?
It's a very sad part.
I don't know if it's sad. Even though Parashat Chayei Sarah deals with the death of Sarah Imenu, still it's called Chayei Sarah. Chayei Sarah. In other words, life and not death. And in a way, that's the secret that the parasha, that this portion is trying to tell us, trying to reveal to us, how we could live life, and how can you turn or reverse the power of death and turn it into life itself. Thank you. In this parasha, Abraham buys the Ma'arat HaMachpelah in Hebron and buries Sarai, which is his wife. He buries her there. Now we have to understand that Abraham and Sarah were very, very special and unique people, even just for the mere fact that they went against the whole entire world, and whatever mindset the world was at the time, they went against it. So far and so much that they had to run away from Ur Kasdim to Haran because of their ideas and because of the dreams that they had. Abraham and Sarah dreamt that one day, there will be a day, that every human being is going to have the right for human decency and respect. And that is why? Because he was born in the image of God, from above. This is a revolutionary idea for that time, and even more so for our days today. Because if you think about it, only in our time, recently, we started slowly to see the change in that. I mean, even if it was an issue of race or women's rights and so on and so forth. Of course, as I said to you before, it all comes and it's all true until it comes to the Jews, because people want to take the right of us to live, not because they just hate us, because that is an idea that comes from God. The fact that a person is an anti-Semite is basically a statement against God itself and what God stands for. So we could learn from here that one of the most meaningful things in our existence and being humans is our ability to have a vision. Only when we have a vision we could progress, we could improve, we could develop, and to fulfill our destiny that of a person or a creature that was created in the image of God. For example, if you're going to look at history books, right, they're all full of stories of people that dare to dream for what seems at the time impossible. And because of that, humanity was able to progress and to develop. Yes, even Martin Luther King, his famous quote is, "I have a dream," which at the time was really unthinkable that, we would treat people of color as equal. It was, and unfortunately he paid the price for that. He was killed, he was murdered because of that, but nevertheless, it did not stop him to have a dream. Our problem is that sometimes we don't have dreams, and we'll see why. The spiritual understanding or assumption of the secret of Chayei Sarah teaches us how life itself derives itself from dealing with death, not avoiding it, from dealing with death. The parasha of Chayei Sarah opens, as we said before, with the statement that Sarah died, right? But we still call it Chayei Sarah to teach us that death is not an end, but rather a gate to true life. Death is a gate to true life. And I'm not necessarily just talking about the other world. Not necessarily just talking about I'm talking about death is a gate to true life even in this world. Even in this world. So now, Parashat Chayei Sarah, right? When we call it, we know that Sarah Imenu, represent the Sfera of Malchut, which is the Shekhinah, is an added attribute that does not really have anything from itself, but receives from the other sferot on top. And the death of Sarah is the removal of the light. Now, removal of the light is always an invitation or a chance or an opening for the person to shine by itself. When there is darkness in your life, it's a sign for you that it's time for you to turn the light on. Because until now, something was a luminary for you. There was a light that came from somewhere else. So we also deal not only with death, we also deal with the hardship that comes our way, to a certain extent in the wrong way. In the wrong way. We were not taught to deal with it appropriately. The whole entire world operates like this. I mean, even our own bones, right? If you're going to take the path of least resistance in life and you're never going to lift anything in your life, you're going to have very fragile bones. Your bones are going to break. They're going to have nothing. Our ancestors, excuse me, they used to carry so much stuff on their backs all day long, had much stronger bones and better spines also. They had a backbone. So we need to come to terms with that, right? So Avraham, which represents the Chesed, right, the Sfera of Chesed, he buys the Ma'arat HaMachpelah. Machpelah, it's the word of Kfilut. Kfilut means duality, right? Of the connection of the worlds, upper world with lower world, hidden and revealed, life and death. That's what the Machpelah is all about. And by doing so, he teaches us to see in death itself not an end, but also simple a magnification of life itself, a revelation of life in another dimension. He teaches us, this lesson that we try to always avoid. According to the Zohar, true life, what we call true life, is a state of constant flow of light. There's always light coming in. That's why it's called true light. And when a person stops dreaming, stops believing, stops loving, he's in a state of what we call Yeush, of giving up. It's okay, that's it, let's give up. That light stops and death starts there. When there is a state of Yeush, in other words, you could have a pulse. You could, be so-called alive, but you're dead because you gave up. Never give up. Never. Always try. A door is closed, you should know 2 other doors open. Don't just keep on going on the door. Just move to the side. Move. Sometimes everybody says, you got to move on, you got to move forward. Sometimes you got to move sideways to actually move forward. It just looks, I told you, like life is a American football game, right? Sometimes you have those running backs, they're very good and they can run very fast and very powerful, and they have those legs the size of pillars of Atlas, right? But they always tend to run through the herd. And there are those who wait and they move to the side and they move to this side and they move to that side and they keep on going, and then before you know it's a touchdown. There are very few people that can do it. But these are the ones who separate the men from the boys, as they say. The same thing to us in life. We tend to give up too easily. We tend to give up too easily. It doesn't work for me, you throw it out. No, just go ahead and do it again. Take every situation that you can and turn it into a learning experience. I'll tell you a little secret. My daughter showed me a picture of her son. He took all his socks from his drawer. He has about, 5,000 socks. I don't know how many socks this kid has. And so he put a note, right? He took them all, put them on the floor, put a note, and he says, "Dear mommy and daddy, can you please help me get rid of this because I have too much and it's taking room in my sock drawer." So my daughter says, "What do you think we should do?" I said, "Turn it into a learning experience and teach your son, for example, how to make decisions. Let him assort, see which one he likes. He needs to decide what he likes, what he doesn't like, which one is matching, which one is not matching, and let him decide." I remember one time when I was young, my mother sent me to buy potatoes. The first time my mother sent me to buy potatoes, I always went with my parents to buy potatoes, to buy vegetables. My mother sent me to buy potatoes. I was really annoyed at the fact that she sent me to buy potatoes. Because why? I saw it, but I never picked potatoes in my life. And she told me what she wants. And I had to stand there, and I looked like, 5 minutes at every potato I picked. And now looking back at that, I said, well, that was my first exercise of learning how to make a decision. Yes, even picking. In Israel, you go in and you pick the vegetables. I like this one, I don't like this one, and so on and so forth. We don't turn it like this. So there's no need, even in hardship, don't need to give up. Things don't go your way, your school doesn't go your way, change it. You see that school is not for you, don't give up, don't go on unemployment. That's a wrong path to take. Take a different trade. Change your field. Try, move from here, move from there. Just keep on going. It's going to be okay. Again, sometimes you're going to have to go backwards, sideways, backwards, but to keep on going. Why do you need to go backwards? So you can be able to see where there is an opening, where there's a door where you could go through. Most of us run to the wall time and time again until we get such a headache, we get a spiritual concussion, and then we're immobile. That lesson, and now look what happened at the death of Sarai men. But when a person takes even his failure and reverses his failure, he takes the loss, he takes darkness, and he turns it into a vessel to receive a new light. What he's doing here, I'm going to tell you, he's doing something fantastic here. He's doing his own personal resurrection of the death. Of the dead, he's doing resurrection, Tchiyat HaMetim, a private Tchiyat HaMetim. And as the samurais in Japan, here, Mr. Japan, as the samurais in Japan said, he who lives as is dead really lives his life. Yes. Yes. Now, this is not a call for what we call nihilism. Nihilism is a philosophical belief that life has no inherent meaning, value, or purpose. That's not the case. It's just the other way around. It's to put purpose in everything you do. But to understand that being free from the materialistic grab that life has on us allows us to live the moment, to experience the present in his full capacity. That is the principle of what we call an empty heart, an awareness that is free from any kind of assumption of physical prison. It's an awareness that there's no fear in it, because I'm not afraid. We are afraid. It is one of the reasons that we have, by the way, we love clutter. We buy things and we possess things because we are fearful. We are afraid, so we're trying to hold on to materialistic things, not understanding that these are the anchors that hold us down and prevent us from flowing, from growing. Unclutter yourself. Get rid of stuff you don't need. You have clothing that you haven't worn a year, get rid of it. Give it to somebody else. Let them enjoy it. Don't fall in love with this. These are the things that hold you down. These are the things that will prevent you from doing that. Like, for example, if I'm going to take your phones right now, right? So, when we look at this, in Judaism, what we say is tzaddikim b'mitatam kurim chayim, right? A righteous person and his death is called alive. Why? Because they live in the awareness of eternity beyond time, beyond shape, and so on and so forth. They understand that their actions would last forever. So even if the person departed from this world, since his action is not limited by time, is not limited by a shape or form or possessive materialistic things, basically is above time and space. That's what it means. I mean, listen, when you're underground, 6 rounds underground, you're 6 down underground, you're dead. But your actions, you have to understand how you operate in this world. has a tremendous meaning to it and a tremendous force by itself. So is Sarah. Sarah Imenu in her life and her death teaches us that quiet grace, that beauty in simplicity, the beauty in the imperfect. She saw the beauty in everything. And her death, which is interesting, awakens Avraham Avinu to reach a higher greatness, to change, to switch from a state of a personal love, which he loved his wife so much, to a state of universal love. That's what Avraham Avinu does. That love, that he takes the power of love that he has and he turns it into what we call tikkun olam, fixing the world. Avraham and Sarah were dreamers. Dreaming in our society sounds like a bad thing. You know, if you're going to go to Aboriginal Australians over there, dreaming is a big thing. A vision is a big thing. All ancient cultures understood the importance of a vision. We don't have a vision. Our life is being dependent on what we are told to be. We were told to think. We are told to think. We change ourselves to the point that it's crazy. And what do I mean by that? If in a certain act at a certain point in time, and not so far away, was considered to be outrageous, you will get up and scream and say, "This is outrageous." How do we get to a state where being outrageous is okay, is acceptable? Like what happened is October 7th. Because we went all aboard about craziness, about not having boundaries, about allowing everything, and so on and so forth, to the point that nothing seems outrageous anymore. It's like, okay, whatever. Whatever. After Shira, I'll tell you a joke about this, which I'm not going to say on record, right? But I'll tell you a joke, which really comes to sums the situation that we have. But nobody seems to care. The more you are influenced by others, the more you lose your freedom, the more you're wasting your time. Because that's what everybody told you to do. And I hate when people tell me, when everybody does it, why, you don't have a life? You don't have a mind to think? What's your driving force? What's the vision of your life? You know, you should really, each and every one of you guys, there's children here. Each and every one of you should really have a vision board. On that vision board, you should create, say, what you want to be and what you would like to achieve and what you like to do. And then put a list down of things that you need to do to get to this goal. Because if you don't set your goal, you're never going to get anywhere. Life is not going to wait for you. Time does not wait for anyone. And before you know, you're too old to do anything. You're too old to do anything. Then they're going to be the anthem of your life is going to be, instead of doing I did it my way, you're going to think to me, I should have been a cowboy. Should have been, could have been. You have to take the song I did it my way as your personal anthem. That's the only way you're going to get anywhere in life. But for that, you got to have a dream. For that, you got to know what you want in life, but what you want. Not what your daddy wants, not what your mommy wants, not what society wants, not what your Rebbe wants, not what you want. Do you dare? We don't dare to dream. And we encourage our kids not to dream. And the exposure to this poison that you call social media takes away your freedom, robs you from your dreams, and leaves you on the side like a roadkill. You're basically becoming roadkill. So now, Avraham Avinu, as we said, were dreamers, but not in terms of like false imagining, like daydreaming and so on and so forth. But rather they saw the world, they saw reality, a spiritual reality like it was never seen before. We say when you're going to wake up from your dream, right, from the real dream, only then you would know that the dream and the dreamer are one thing. only then you would know that the dream and the dream are one thing. In other words, your vision, your dream has to be yours. And you have to be them. In Kabbalah we say, this world looks like a dream, comparing with Olam Haba. Not Olam Haba is a dream. This world is a dream. The true dreamer is the person that lives with a constant recognition that every single moment of his life is an expression of God and God in it. Everything that you do is an expression of God and God's will. If you do it like this, the dreams becomes a tool of revelation, not an escape from reality like we all do. We try to escape reality, but instead of doing that, if you dream like this, if you have a vision, that becomes you deepen the reality. You deepen your understanding of what is really happening around you. Most of us are afraid of dreaming because of fear of failure. We're afraid to fail. But the true fear should be from living life without a dream. Because life with a dream and with a vision is life with a meaning. Life without meaning is not worthy to be life. And even when the dream is not going to fulfill the way we want it, because listen, you're only just a small little fragment we are just like a small cell, like an amoeba in the universe. Sometimes the amoeba gets its way, sometimes it doesn't. But that should not stop you, because the failure of a dream is always a beginning or a chance to have a new dream and to start a new idea. Because it says what? Sheva pe'amim, Sheva yipol tzaddik vekam. Right? The tzaddik, the righteous man, is going to fall 7 times and is still going to get up. The Zohar teaches us that when Adam and Chava ate from Etz Hadat, from a tree of knowledge for the first time, that's the first time that they tasted death. Because that was falling down into a place of darkness, of failure. Death, in a way, is going down a step. Death is going down a step. Every time we get hurt, every time we fail, every time we give up, we die a little bit more. Every time like this. That's why it says, "Ivdu et Hashem besimcha." You have to be in joy. You have to be in happiness, not in state of death. Because a dead person cannot worship God. He's dead. So is a person who's completely depressed. If he's so depressed that he's reading in bed, we say, okay, you know what? Get some whatever you get over there, Abilify, whatever you get there, and then I don't know, whatever they give them, right? And then until then you pater, you're like a sick person, Anus, patur min mitzvot. He's exempt from doing the mitzvot. How can you worship God when you're dead? That's the concept behind it. Don't give up. Just don't give up. Now, if you're talking about death is basically darkness. Darkness, the letters of choshech, right? How do you spell choshech? Chet, shin, chav. Also the same letters as shachach, to forget. You forget what it's all about. When you have this darkness, that concept, that attitude sinks into our cells, sinks into our muscles, into our tissue, and causes, in a way, our DNA to forget how to replace its cells. That's how we die. I have a whole shiur, by the way, ready for you, about dying and DNA according to Kabbalah. So, if you be good guys, I'll give it to you one morning. So, when our cells forget how to, reproduce, then all of a sudden we become old. Because being old is not a deterioration of the body, because the cells in our body renew all the time. It's cutting the edges of the DNA, of our spiritual DNA as well. And that's why stress causes you to die. Stress causes cancer. Why? Because what stress does, it kind of short circuits the DNA, and it gets shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter to the point that you have cells that forgot how to function appropriately. And that's what it is. Just you have to stop with this. And if you have a job that is too stressful, quit. Quit, because it's going to kill you. And I don't think there is a job good enough to die for. It's crazy to work to die. So don't take a stressful job. Better off, as Kohelet said, it's better to be a living dog than a dead lion. Better off you have a job that pays your bills, they're able to put some food on your table, right? You don't have to have tomahawk steak every night, and to have sushi brought in from I don't know, New Guinea, whatever fish you pick over there. You can have whatever you can have. Sardines are probably healthier for you. Eating a lot of tuna, by the way, is not healthy because tuna is a big fish. It's all American. Eat sardines; it's much better for you. Work hard. You're going to live longer. Have a meaning into your life. Have a small house where you can look at everywhere you go. You see your wife. You're happy. You don't need a big house that everybody's hiding. You have an intercom. You have to make a meeting with your wife. Set a thing on the computer. Send her a WhatsApp. When can you have a talk to her or have a coffee together? Who needs this? Well, that's the way most people live. They forgot. Because this is not their idea. And where do we get this? We get this from movies. We get it from Hollywood. From all these places. I mean, everybody wants to be a dentist. Why do you want to be a dentist? I want to make money. Well, how about you be a gardener? Oh, I would love to, but I can't make a living. You're wrong. How about if I make you to be a dentist making, $50,000 a year? Would you be a dentist? The answer is no. Okay, so you should be a dentist to begin with if you're making $500,000. Because guess what? You're going to be a bad one. And that's the problem with teaching. Many teachers become teachers because it gets good benefits, not because they want to teach. And that's sad. That's very sad. So it says in the parasha also that Avraham Avinu died. He's called Zaken Vesavea. He was full. He was old and he was full. In other words, he lived life to its fullest. When the secret is life. His secret in life was by giving to others, giving people not just giving to others, stuffed tongue and shish kebab and stuff like this, and a place to stay and whatever, ashpalov, whatever. That's not what he was just doing. Yeah, he did that. Yes, he gave people tremendous hospitality, but more than that, Avraham Avinu was doing his meaning in life. He was giving people meaning in their lives. He gave them hope. He gave them compassion. He gave them an ability to dream and to believe in their dreams as well. And this is what could really help us from being disappointed, from having failure, and to give us a sense of eternal life in every single moment. Death is not your enemy, but rather it's a guide, is a teacher that teaches you how to live your life. Tell you, listen, there's going to be an end. So start counting every moment. Whoever understands and able to grasp that secret, that idea, could really also find something that most of us don't have. And that is true love. And true love can only come when you love with finding the truth. And you cannot find the truth when you keep on lying to yourself. And the more you lie to yourself, the further you get from reaching a state of true love in your life. You might live with a woman for 40 years, for 50 years, for whatever amount of years, but you never loved her and she never loved you. It's not because something is wrong with her or something is wrong with you. It's something, within yourself, with the way you looked at life. You never seek the truth. You ignored it. You ignored yourself. Who you are and what you're about. You forgot. That's why you're never going to have true love. And that's why there's so many people who are getting divorced. One of the reasons there's so many people getting divorced. That's why this parasha telling us about this famous miracle when Eliezer met met Rivka at the well in the place in Haran, right? She gives him something to drink. She gives his camel to drink, and this is how he gets his answer for all his prayers. And this is the siman. This is the sign that she could be the wife of Yitzchak. That zivug, that matching, really becomes successful. How do we know it? Because it says Veyahavena, and he loved her, because she was the truthful for him. He didn't care how she looked. He cared about her actions. Avraham and Sarah were dreamers, as we say. But again, they had an ability to see reality. It's as the way it is. They saw what the actions would come up, or what resonate as, and they were able to act upon it. When you're going to wake up from your dream, sometimes it's going to be too late. So I'm telling you, first of all, start dreaming truthfully and start doing it now. The Zohar hints to us that death is shichecha, as we say, forgetting. But forgetting of what? Of the divine light. The light of a Kadosh Baruch Hu that is within ourselves, within each and every one of us. Why? Because David HaMelech says, Gam ki elech begeit tzal mavet. Even I'm going to walk in the valley of death. Lo yirara. I'm not going to be afraid. Why? Ki ata imadi. If you want to know where God is, He's inside of you. You just forgot He's there. He's inside your cells. You know where God is? Is in the space within the cells of your body, within the atoms in your body. God fills you up. Not just a teeny little spark. He's all of you. Because if you know, we are more space than we are solid. Even on a molecule level, there's more space than there is matter. God fills us up. God fills whole reality. Melo kol haaretz kevodo. All over. But we forget. Where the Zohar calls life a continuous remembering of the source of light. Spring, which is optimism, right? We're always very optimistic in life. Does not come from the outside. It comes from the inside out. The tree grows from the inside out. So is our optimism. In other words, you cannot go around and wait for somebody to give you some kind of a substance to become happy. Or to, it's all within you. You have the key. You have the ability. You need to change the way you look at things. This is what Avraham Avinu had. He was zaken v'saveh. Lo zaken from the years, from many years, but he was full of life, full with the light of life inside of his life. He did not surrender to being worn out. He was 90 years old, in pain. He just had the circumcision. 90 years old, in the heat. And he's running. He said, I'm not stopping, I'm not surrendering. Okay, so it hurts. Okay, it hurts. No, so there's an opportunity here to do chesed. There's an opportunity to do something good. That's okay, so it hurts. Numa. The pain will go away. But it's a greater shame if I'm going to lose this opportunity to do mitzvah. This is the key of Avraham. Don't fall in love with your agony. Don't fall in love with your pain. There are people that all they talk about is all day long. This hurts me and that hurt me, and I have this problem and I had that problem. Who wants to be that person like this? The famous song everybody sings in Israel, sometimes I had enough of it, is a very truthful song. It's going to be better and better and better if you really believe this, if you really allow the light to make it better. But we say, no, turn the light off, please. It's too much light. Turn it off. I don't want this. I don't want too much God in my life. You do things because that's how you wanted to do things. Then you get the depth. And the deeper you go, the more you allow the light to come into your life. When you become superficial, all on the surface, it just reflects. Nothing penetrates into you. Become a little deeper. Stop looking at your telephones. Stop you looking at your Instagram. Start filling up your life with some substance. Create some vessel, a certain apparatus for the light to hold in, something to grab the light. What are we doing to ourselves? So when Avraham Avinu does not surrender, and he decided, okay, I'm going to put my life in meaning. His meaning in life was to make this world into a better place. The Kabbalah teaches us when a person becomes active, and active in the act of chesed, of believing and giving, he is awakened what we call the Or HaGanuz, the hidden light that was hidden in the 6 days of creation for the righteous people of the world to come. He brings it up into this world. So in reality, his body becomes a vessel to the light of the Ein Sof. His body, his essence, himself becomes a kli, a vessel for God. In his soul, experience eternal life in every single moment because he understands that his actions would lessen eternity. So he's experiencing Olam Hazeh, Olam Haba, po, here. He experiencing that because he understands that. You teach somebody Torah, you know that would last a lifetime, hopefully. You give a guy a job. It's not just, okay, listen, I need to do a mitzvah. Okay, I didn't give tzedakah this year. Okay, I'll say, guy, okay, listen, buddy, here, take $2. I'm generous there. I'm going to give you a quarter. I'm going to give you $2. No, it doesn't need to go like this. Help people get jobs. Teach people in the importance of having a job. Teach people the importance of doing, and the reason, by the way, why we don't do our jobs right is because we don't see any meaning in our jobs. We're not proud of what we do. We're not proud of what we do. I saw a short documentary about this Yakuza woman. Yakuza is the Japanese mafia. Tattoos all over her, crazy stuff. She was like a mean Yakuza person. She's like missing a finger. This whole entire thing, right? She was in jail, and then she decided to change her life. She said, I had enough of this. And then she fell back into, she couldn't fit her, she has tattoos all over, she couldn't fit a kid, whatever. And then she says, you know what, enough is enough. Enough is enough. And she got a job, a regular job, and you know what she does for a living? She picks up garbage from the street. She cleans the street. If they see something on the floor, she goes and cleans the street. And she's so proud of it. And she's so proud of it that she helped other Yakuza people to leave the Yakuza and to join her. There's a whole clan of people over there walking in the street. And they're so proud because they have a decent source of income. Even though they used to be big shots and mafias and powerful, it's the chance to do the right thing the right way. We need to teach our children to do the right thing in the right way. We need to teach ourselves as well. And this is what we have in this parasha. And that's why at the end of the parasha, we have the story of the love of Yitzchak and Rivka. And it says, V'yahavena, in other words, that true love as a result of an awareness that recognizes eternity. It's this awareness, this mindset is not dependent on time or in shape. In other words, as I said to you before, Yitzchak loved Rivka because of her action and what she did and what she represents, not because of how she looked. We many times determine who we're going to live with based on how they look. And it's a falseness. Yitzchak understands this concept of sanctifying the moment and not living in the past. As he understands, that the true love, seeking the truth, depends on the Shoresh Eloki, in the divine root that we are all connected. He saw the connection in the spiritual world between them, not in the physical, because the physical is going to wear out. Time is going to do its thing. Time is going to take your beautiful skin, is going to take it into a wrinkled parchment. Gravity is going to run havoc on your body parts. Your face is going to get droopy, your belly and some other parts that I don't want to get into now. Everything is pulling. Earth does not, the power of gravity doesn't stop from pulling you into the ground. You need to elevate yourself and separate from it. You need to look at life in the eyes. You need to start appreciate every moment that you have. And don't waste your time on your telephones, on your Instagrams, or texting to somebody, because they're not going to teach you what I just taught you. You're wasting your life. Guys, you got only one life. You better do it right. You don't get a second chance. Every moment that passed is a moment that is gone forever. Sanctify and appreciate what you have in front of you right now, because this time would never come again in the history of the world. The Japanese call this concept Ichigo Ichi, sanctifying every moment. In other words, in Japanese it means one meeting, one time. Understanding that every moment is unique, and it has an influence for eternity on the same time, at the same time. Both unique and eternal. In other words, what you're going to experience now is going to take you forever and ever, beyond time and space. But it's never going to come again. It's a paradox, but that's what it is. Don't say that's why I don't like the whole concept of Gilgulim, resurrection. I'll come again, I'll do this again. No, you're not going to come again. Because even if you're going to come 100 times around and as a resurrection, you're going to keep on making the same mistake, and it's a waste of life potential. I don't want to wait for the punishment for that. I want to live put any moment in my life, put meaning in it. That's why I don't sleep in the afternoons. Because I don't have, in 4 lifetimes, I'm not going to be able to accomplish what I want to do in a lifetime. So don't sleep in the afternoon. Don't waste your time on idol worshipping of your body. Take care of your body. But how about you taking care of your mind? How about you take care of your spirit? How about you're going to come to a spiritual, gym, not just to a physical one? Take care of your spirit, because that's what will carry you. Because you can have the body of Atlas, but if your mind is weak, it's not going to carry you anywhere. If your soul is tempered, you're not going to be able to sustain anything. Life comes and batters you like waves in the ocean on a storm. You need to make sure that you're going to come out of it. Maybe a little wet, but you're going to come out of it alive. How are you going to do that? What is that silver thread that is going to keep you alive, that you're going to enjoy yourself? Do you have it or you cut it? That silver thread is called emunah. It's called meaning. If you have a sweetheart waiting for you at the port, you're going to do whatever you can in your power to make it. You're not going to give up. What is that sweetheart in your dream, in your life? Do you have anything that you love so much that is worth living for? Avraham Avinu understood that. Avraham Avinu did not fall apart when Sarah. It was sad for him. He loved Sarah. He cried for her. But he says, okay, there's an opportunity for me to do something else, because right now everything that I had was dedicated to Sarah. But now that Sarah is gone, I'm going to dedicate even more, because she taught me how to be me. And I'm going to do it not only because I'm free from her love now, I'm going to do it for her as well. So Avraham Avinu faces life after Sarah with twice as much power and energy that he had beforehand. And believe me, the guy had a lot of energy. But how about you? Somebody sneezes, you crawl under the carpet. No, that could not happen. When things don't go your way, you cry. Okay, it doesn't go my way. Okay, I'll try something else. It's no big deal. I'm still alive. I can still change. I can still change. As they say, as long as the light is the light flickers, it's not dark. You can still change. You could still change. Avraham and Sarah teaches us the art of life, to know how to dream, to know that you're going to fall, but they taught us how to get up. Avraham and Sarah taught us how to give and to believe, to live from simplicity, from the simplicity of God, of sanctifying every moment. Every moment was connected to the other moment in a connection of life, of chesed, that connected dream to reality, the connection between Kodesh Lechol, in order to be able to elevate everything up in Kedusha and holiness up higher. Only through that we have the life of Sarah. Shabbat Shalom.